What is up, you guys? My name is Catherine and welcome to my channel. So Valentine's Day is coming up this Thursday, so I thought it would be fun to do like a cute Valentine's Day themed get ready with me. It's probably gonna be a little chatty. I like to use get ready with me as a time to be like a little more chatty because sometimes making review videos doesn't always allow for me to be personal, but I still want you guys to get to know me and like feel like I do more than just swatch eyeshadow and talk about the quality of makeup. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I do post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. We're doing a full face today, so might be a bit of a longer video. I'm always in like such a love-hate relationship with Valentine's Day because I'm like, on the one hand, we should be celebrating love every single day of the year, but on the other hand, like, it is really cute to have just like a day dedicated to loving people. I feel like people get really hung up on the fact that like they think Valentine's Day is only for couples. And I'm like not someone who believes that. I know growing up, I remember my dad sending me flowers. Like I lived in the same house as him, but he would still like arrange for like a bouquet of flowers to be sent to me and my sister every single Valentine's Day. I remember when I was a sophomore in high school, there was a huge snowstorm on Valentine's Day. And I remember he was like really upset about it because the flowers weren't going to be delivered because of the snowstorm. And I also had dinner planned with a huge group of my friends. And I remember I didn't have my driver's license at the time because I've always been very young for my grade, so I was still only 15. And so my dad drove me to that, and the roads were so bad. There was like 3 inches of snow on the road, and my dad was like in his like mid-sized sedan. And I remember like years later, like after like I'd had my driver's license and driven in the snow for the first time, I was like, wow, I really can't believe you drove me to that dinner. Like, roads were kind of not good. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I just wanted you to be able to go out with your friends. Aww. Like, I feel like I just, because of how my parents treated Valentine's Day for like me growing up, I've never seen Valentine's Day as something that's exclusively to be celebrated with a significant other. I was not planning for this video to be super cheesy, like at all, but here we are. I'll link everything I'm using down below, or at least list it, because oftentimes when I do videos like this, I just don't really remember to talk about the products that I'm using. I feel like I should just talk about like Valentine's Day stories that I have. Last year on Valentine's Day, I was in a relationship. I was still living in a dorm at the time, so I rented an Airbnb, which sounds bougie. It wasn't. It was like this basement apartment by Times Square. So I was just like there watching Netflix, minding my business, and I go to pee, and there's this large cockroach in the bathtub. So I'm using the Lawless the One palette today. I do have a 3 looks 1 palette up with this, and I'm like,
hey, there's a cockroach in the bathtub. Please get here as fast as you can.
And he's like, send me a picture of it. So I sent him a picture of it. And he's like, you can kill that.
I was like, no, I really can't. Like, I cannot kill bugs.
So anyways, I had these Maison Margiela sneakers. And I don't own designer clothes. Like, that's not me. I got these on Barney's Warehouse, and they were like very much a splurge for me. Absolutely loved them. But like the original price of them was $400. So I like held them in quite high regard, obviously, for that reason. So he's over here like, just squish it with your shoe. And I was like,
I'm wearing my Margielas, so no thank you.
And he was like, that's ridiculous. Like, do you know what your shoe steps on a daily basis? And I'm like,
yeah, but I don't want to be scraping bug carcass off of my designer sneakers.
Finally, he rolls up and he like comes into the bathroom and he looks at the bug and he's like, this is literally the smallest cockroach I've ever seen in my life. For me, it was the biggest cockroach I'd ever seen in my life. And so he just like immediately squishes it and cleans off the bottom of his shoe like it ain't no thing. It wasn't small, it was like 2.5 inches long. Proceeds to go on to tell me how At one point in his apartment growing up, there was a cockroach so big that it didn't die when he squished it with his shoe. So he had to get a hammer and hammer the cockroach to death. And that was enough for me. I didn't need to hear that. I almost immediately booked a plane ticket back to Ohio and decided that was enough New York for my lifetime. I just couldn't do it anymore. So anyways, that's like my memory of my one Valentine's Day spent with a significant other. I'm going to use this Stila foiled eyeshadow because I feel like this is a really gorgeous rose gold. The shade is literally metallic dusty rose. Let's see. The Valentine's Day before last year, so I was a freshman in college, my mom came to visit me, which was fun. She brought my little cousin, and my sister came too, which was really fun. I specifically remember the Kylie Jenner pop-up shop from that trip because that was open here in New York at the time. And it had been open for enough days that there weren't like horrendous lines anymore. I think we waited for like an hour to get in, which yeah, that's like still a little crazy, but we wanted to go in. And I got the brush that I'm using right now. She had this brush set that she released like for a Valentine's Day exclusive, and it was much more reasonably priced than her other brushes, like the goat hair ones. It was like $35 for 5 brushes, and I really love these brushes. This stuff is literally like the same texture as gold leaf, and I'm not quite sure how it's eye safe, but I think I'm going to put just a little bit of black shadow in my outer corner because I'm not going to do winged eyeliner. So I'm going to add that little bit of dimension there. I feel like I haven't talked in like 10 minutes, but these steps all require intense concentration and stillness. My god, this won't open. I'm going to use these lashes. These specific ones are from Amazon, but this is a pretty common lash shape. I, for the life of me, cannot understand how some people consistently get the inner corner of their lashes to stick down, because I can't. I'm going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer today. I love this stuff. Like, I really think it does dupe the silk canvas quite well. Like, I know a while ago I was saying I'm going to buy the silk canvas when I run out of my sample from Sephora, but I no longer feel the need to do that because I have an $8 version right here. I was going to do a comparison video of this to the sample, and then I'm like, well, everyone else is doing that, so there's kind of no need for me to do that. A while ago, I did a poll asking you guys what foundation you wanted to see me use more, and this was the top voted foundation, the Revolution Conceal and Define foundation. Let's see, I was talking about Valentine's Days. So let's see, we're going back in time. My senior year of high school, I was here, weirdly enough, actually. I had done the summer program at Parsons. I was not planning on going here at the time that I did that, like at all. And my friend from the program was like, I'm gonna be in New York that weekend. And I was like,
cool. I was like, what if I asked my mom if I could come to New York? Like,
low-key joking. And he was like, yeah, do it. So I asked my mom, also like low-key joking. And she was like, yeah, sure, like, let's go to New York. And it was actually really fun. It was like fucking cold as hell. It was literally like 12 degrees the whole weekend, and I like kind of wanted to die every time I stepped outside. Like, I missed New York so much my senior year of high school. The summer program was like a month-long thing. So it's like enough time that like you make like really good friends there, and you've like very much like settled into your life there. So I was so like, I was missing it so much. All of my favorite teachers like left my senior year of high school, like my dean of students, my drama teacher, and then this other teacher that I really liked. So I was like not feeling school that whole time. So it was just so fun to be back in New York. My parents had this like rule for me where I could pretty much go anywhere for college as long as it was within a 4.5 hour drive from where we lived. And obviously New York is not a 4.5 hour drive from anywhere in Ohio. Like, the month that I spent here this summer going into my senior year of high school was genuinely like one of the best months of my life. Like, I was so happy the entire time. I felt like the learning that I did in that month was just incredible. It was so much like, it was just amazing. The deadline was like sometime in January. I remember like the week of the deadline, I decided I was gonna apply. I told almost no one. I didn't tell my parents because I knew they would be like, well, don't apply. I think I had to do like some photo essays for the application. So I had to like pull some friends together to do that. So I told the friends that I had helped me out with that because I knew if I told them what it was for, they would be more than happy to help me out because they knew how much I missed it. And I didn't tell anyone else. I didn't even tell my friends from the Parsons summer program because I didn't want them to get their like hopes up that I'd actually be able to go. And I just remember like, I cried when I found out I got in because I was just like so happy. I was like, I didn't think I would because I literally pulled my application like out of my ass the week it was due. When I saw my friend for the first time, I just like pulled up my laptop and I was like, I have something to show you. And he just looked at it and he was like, what? He was like, you told me you didn't apply. Like, it was great. If only I had known that 2.5 years later, this city would have sucked all of my life, happiness, and youth out of me. I think on actual Valentine's Day, I was at the MoMA, and I remember it just being, like, horrible. Because there were just all these couples there, because they're like, oh, let's go to the MoMA. That's a cute Valentine's Day date. And they're all just, like, making out in front of, like, modern art. So that was, like, weird. I have legitimately no memory of Valentine's Day my junior year of high school, actually. Let's see. The only thing I have in my phone from Valentine's Day 2015 is this picture of Katie Heron from Mean Girls saying, you know what? It's not my fault you're in love with me or something. So that must have been my life. I have a lot of makeup left to do, and I've told all my Valentine's Day stories, and I kind of don't know what to talk about now. Should I just talk about what it's like to date in NYC? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So dating here is really weird. I don't know. So I never had a boyfriend in high school. I went to a super small high school, and none of the boys liked me, so I never had a boyfriend. So anyways, I get to New York. Here I am, like a freshly grown organic piece of corn from the Midwest, and suddenly I'm in this like giant city with like, I don't even know how many millions of people live here. Okay, 8 million people, 8.6 million people live in New York City in the 5 boroughs, so that's a lot. And 1.6 million people live on the lovely island known as Manhattan. There's a lot of people here. However, My school is very small. Most of the guys here are gay. First of all, my school is like 70% female. And then on top of that, the guys that are here are like mostly, like that's just, it's art school, like that's how it is. And then the guys that are straight, they kind of like know they're like a commodity. That kind of just leaves either like meeting people at the club or online dating. So clubbing is an anxiety-inducing experience for me. First of all, I'm not 21. And then, like, you're in there and it's, like, really crowded and loud. And then, like, there's always that, like, one friend that, like, can't handle their crap and they're, like, throwing up on the floor or something. So that kind of just leaves online dating. I find it so hard to get, like, a good conversation going on a dating app. So, like, I like Bumble better than Tinder, to be perfectly honest. If you're on Tinder, you're looking for a hookup, which is fine, all respect to that, just like that's not my thing. But then Bumble, I feel like, so like the whole thing with Bumble is like you match with someone and then if you're the girl, you're the one to start the conversation. Like the guy doesn't have the choice to start the conversation. But then I feel like a lot of guys take that and they're like, the girl has to start the conversation and it's her sole responsibility to be the one keeping the conversation going. And then there's like always the guys that just like, they'll talk about themselves and never ask like any questions or really give you like an interesting thing to like go off of to ask them more questions. I always end up feeling like I'm interviewing the person on the other end and I don't like that. And I've also been on some like very bad dates thanks to dating apps. I kind of like, do I talk about it? Do I not talk about it? One time I was like on a date with this guy and it was going like fine. It wasn't going like exceptionally good or exceptionally bad. He just starts randomly talking about how much he hates Chinese people. And I was like, what? And he just kept going. He's like, yeah, I just really hate them. I don't trust them at all. And I was just like, okay, like so uncomfortable. And like I know like in that moment I should be like, that's really racist, like don't say that or think like that. Hands down the worst date I've ever been on. It was horrible, obviously, because he literally turned out to be racist, like openly blunt racist. This is my Lime Crime Beat It lipstick. I'm so bad at putting lipstick on, so that's why I normally don't, because I feel like my lips are so big that it's really noticeable when it's like uneven or whatever. Anyways, this is my Valentine's Day look. Obviously it's not actually Valentine's Day as I'm filming this, but hopefully this inspired you to do some makeup on Valentine's Day if you're wanting to do makeup on Valentine's Day. If not, I hope you at least enjoyed all of my little Valentine's Day and dating related anecdotes. If you do have any fun Valentine's Day plans that you would like to share down below because you're just excited and you want to talk about them, then by all means go ahead and do that. If you want to vent about Valentine's Day and you absolutely hate it, go ahead and do that down below as well. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.